Hello, folks. Hope every one of you is doing great out there. This is your host Shahid Mahmood. Welcome back to Cafe Iqtisad, the new episode. I'm an economist by qualification with around 2 decades of experience in both the private and public sector as a researcher and as an advisor in different roles to the government of Pakistan, federal government, and the provincial government. Let's jump right to the today's topic, and today's topic relates to rare earth minerals or minerals in general and cryptocurrencies. The reason I've picked these two is because of all the hoopla or all the hype surrounding these two in Pakistan nowadays. It has been some time, in fact, it has been in the news, in the headlines for some time now in Pakistan. And the recent meeting between Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief General Asim Munir with the President of United States Donald Trump. You must have seen the picture. They were displaying a briefcase, sort of a case in which there were some minerals, and we were told that these are rare earth minerals that have garnered a lot of interest all around the globe. So this piece, or I just want to briefly discuss that if you go beyond the headlines and analyze everything, is this hype or is this hoopla justified? Is it going to bring the promised riches in Pakistan? Now, we had a lot of so-called game changers. About a decade ago, about 15 years back, we were told that CPEC or the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is going to bring a lot of riches to Pakistan. It's going to transform Pakistan's economy, and it will end Pakistan economy's perennial issues, perennial problems, and we are going to be one of the finest economies in the world. Well, 15 years down the line, CPEC hasn't delivered much, unfortunately, and Pakistan, in fact, is staring down a lot of liabilities due to CPEC that we've accrued over time. So, and there have been changers even before that. I don't want to name. I'll put a link to one of my recent articles in which I discuss all these game changers and minerals. You can read that in the. I'll just briefly go through some of the issues and go beyond the headlines, beyond Mayor Alan Greenspan, who was the Federal Reserve Chairman back in the 90s. A famous economist. He coined the term irrational exuberance. So I just want to analyze the ground realities and see whether this is all irrational exuberance, or is the hype justified, and is it going to help Pakistan in any way? Well, first of all, let's tackle the question of minerals. This has been going on since a year at least. There was a report. First, there appeared a report in all the major newspapers and social media in Pakistan that large-scale survey has been carried out in Pakistan, a geological survey, and it has found tremendous amounts of minerals, which we were told equal, or their valuation was put at $6 trillion. And let me repeat the figure: $6 trillion. Not $6 billion, $6 trillion. So the first question that comes to mind is that how did they arrive at that figure? Till this day, we don't know how did they value these minerals, or how did they come up with this $6 trillion figure that has put everybody up, that has kind of put everybody here on, everybody started noticing, oh, $6 trillion, that's fabulous. How much wealth do we have in minerals? But till this day, nobody has come up with an explanation of how they arrived at this figure. What was the formula used? Was it the Geological Survey of Pakistan that came up with this figure? Was it any other ministry, division, or any public sector entity? Or was it some foreign entity or foreign organization that they hired who came up with this figure? We don't know. But anyway, let's jump right into rare earth minerals now. The valuation was of minerals and rare earth minerals in general. Now, rare earth minerals and rare earth elements, they are supposedly in a lot of demand in Pakistan, all over the globe. And so there was this excitement that we found rare earth minerals in Pakistan. So let's look at the market size first of all. The total market size for these is hardly $4 billion. And the best estimates suggest that by 2030 it would grow to be around $6 billion. And who's the main supplier? China. 70% of rare earth elements, if I remember, or rare earth minerals, and 90% of rare earth elements are being supplied by China. So, even hypothetically, I'm saying that even if Pakistan kind of captures this whole market and everybody starts buying these rare earth minerals from Pakistan, you're not going to get much. It's hardly a $4 billion market, and compared to Pakistan's requirements, the external payments for imports, immediate requirements, it's nothing. Pakistan is not going to get much out of it in terms of monetary benefits. The second and more realistic scenario is that, look, you've just mined a few bits of rare earth minerals. It's going to take time, and it's not that China would just leave out the market for you, Pakistan, and come and say, look, here's the market, you want to take it, that's your market, we are not going to supply anything. I don't think Chinese are going to allow that. I don't think Chinese are going to run away from the competition. So you have to compete with the Chinese. So there isn't much, if you have to be realistic, kind of think about it, there isn't much that would accrue to Pakistan in that case. And as I said, there hasn't been much that has been mined. There has just been one recently, about a week ago, we heard that a US company has entered into an agreement worth $500 million with a entity FWO, that's an army entity, to mine rare earth minerals. So they would be mining this, they would be setting up operations. It's not mined. It will take time. All this, and $500 million, it's absolutely nothing in Pakistan's case. So first of all, you have to dispel this impression. You have to, people here, at least in the policy making circle, they need to be realistic. There isn't much that Pakistan would, it would accrue to Pakistan in terms of its requirements. It's a small market. It will grow, but it will grow gradually. And they also need to dispel this myth or this unnecessary hype or unnecessary thinking that we found something special that nobody else has. In fact, rare earth minerals have been found all around the globe. Pakistan is not the only place. So if somebody is thinking that we found something special, and there are a lot of people in Pakistan who fall for this hype, they need to revise their expectations. They need to be more realistic. And as I said, there isn't much coming out of it. Now, moving to the other important questions, one or two other important considerations of this debate of minerals. Well, first of all, you have to look at the ones that have already been mined. And what have they brought to Pakistan? Have they helped Pakistan have they helped Pakistan have sustainable economic growth? Have they helped Pakistan improve its human development index or other development indicators? So let's take the example of Sindak and the province of Balochistan. Now, Balochistan is a mineral-rich province in Pakistan and very sparse population. It's 47% of Pakistan's total landmass, and it has hardly as 4-5% of Pakistan's total population. So, theoretically speaking, if a mineral-rich province with such low percentage of population of a country, by per capita income or by per capita earning, it should be the richest province in Pakistan. They should be dabbling in all sorts of riches, unbelievable riches, because they have got so many minerals. You've heard the case of Ricodic, you've heard about Sindak. But what's the reality? The reality is that in Balochistan, it's one of the, if you pick up any indicator, it's whether it's GDP, whether it's development, whether it's education, whether it's sanitation, whether it's water, whether it's health, it lies at the bottom. Even Pakistan's own ranking is pretty bad when it comes to development indicators, but within Pakistan, Balochistan lies at the bottom of human development indicators. So all those minerals that have already been mined or would be mined, they haven't brought much to the province. In fact, if you have heard about the resource curse, it has brought a resource curse over there. It's now embroiled in its 5th insurgency and the most serious one since 2006-2007. Doesn't seem to be ending any soon. In fact, its intensity is picking up. And let me just name one of the projects, the Sendak project. Let's take its example. Sendak is a place in Balochistan where copper and I think gold is already also being mined over there since at least 2 decades. By now, what reports suggest is that it's about to be exhausted. All that copper, it's one of the largest coppers mine in the region, if not the world, and almost all the copper has been exhausted. And if there were any other minerals like gold that have also been dug up from over there. Now here's the interesting fact, or here the interesting bit about that project. Nobody knows how much has been mined. Nobody knows how much of that copper or any other mineral has been taken out of Pakistan, where its final destination was, and how much Pakistan earned from that. It's all secret. Amazing, isn't it? Nobody knows about it. So it kind of raises the question that what would happen to in the case of rare earth mineral, because again it's Pakistan's army that is handling that, and it's in subsidiary Frontier Works organization that is handling this. In Sendak's case, it's also FW and the Chinese who have been taking this, and FW and NLC, again another army subsidiary that has been providing the services. And they've kept it all under wraps. They've kept it secret. Nobody knows anything about it. How much has been mined, how much has been imported, how much has been exported, and what has been Pakistan's earning. It's a close secret. Dawn, it's one of the leading English newspapers in the world. They ran a story about it, and after that, they also didn't run any story, and one could imagine why. So this expectation that even if you have $6 trillion in minerals in all of Pakistan, it's not going to automatically convert into riches for Pakistan, Pakistan's people, or Pakistan's government. It won't automatically get rich. Having something in the ground, having a resource is one thing, but managing that resource is something completely different, entirely different. And let's go back to the rare earth mineral example. So what are you going to do with it? The best Pakistan can do with it is that they will dig it out and they will sell it in its raw form. That doesn't bring value. If you look at the industrial production, if you look at the industry, if you look at the goods, if you look at this whole system from raw material to final conversion of a good, the real value or the real earning lies in a product, not in the raw material. Whatever good or whatever product uses that rare earth mineral, it brings value. The final product brings the value. It's not the rare earth mineral in itself or a mineral in itself that brings value. Oil is one of the most sought after minerals in the world, right? But it was in the ground for all that time, till vehicles came along, till automobiles came along, till transportation came along, till power production, it started using oil. That's what it gave its value. An idea that was transformed into a product, it was transformed into a process to make use of that input, to make use of that raw material that gave it its final value and good value. So in Pakistan's case, again, you don't have anything. You don't have ideas over here in Pakistan. There is that ecosystem is lacking. Ideas, rare, good ideas. I'm saying, good innovative ideas are rare. Then the supporting industry and the supporting or complementing materials like credit availability, services, required human capital, that is lacking in Pakistan. So you can't use that whatever you can do with the mineral or rare earth mineral. The maximum advantage that you could take is that you could use an idea, manufacture something within your country that sells very well, like an iPhone, like other phones, or let's even say they are, from what I've heard, they are also used in defense equipment. But Pakistan doesn't manufacture a lot of defense equipment that uses rare earth minerals. So at this moment, what Pakistan can gain from it is that it will just be dug out from the ground and sold. And at the end of it, like in Sendak or any other case, there would be a big hole in the ground left till it's exhausted. And then what? History tells us that whatever Pakistan has earned, not just from minerals but from other sources, it has only, the structure of Pakistan economy is such at this present moment that it goes into consumption. It will help propel more consumption instead of production, or instead of raising Pakistan economy's total factor productivity. That hasn't happened before, despite despite I would say good times, relatively good times, when the flow of dollars was quite good. We didn't make use of it, we didn't utilize it because we don't have the management expertise, we don't have the human capital, we don't have the related resources, the management resources, or the management infrastructure to make optimum use of it. So even if you find all these rare earth minerals and you have $6 trillion of minerals, God knows how they came up with this valuation, you're not going to achieve much from that. That's my reading, that's what has happened in history. At most, even if the earnings do come, you pay your former debts off, you pay for imports, or it will help perpetuate another consumption bubble which will ultimately deflate. That's what's been happening in Pakistan since at least independence, since at least 1950s, and I don't see that changing. So these considerations should be kept in mind. If you look at this problem from what I've explained, from an equity, from an efficiency criterion, I don't think Pakistan stands to gain much from it. If you look at theories, if you look at the evidence of modern economic growth and economic development, the best input, or the most valuable input, I would say, is human capital, developing human capital that can come up with ideas, that can transform these ideas into reality. And Pakistan severely lacks at that as far as human capital is concerned. Pakistan is near the bottom countries, just above the African countries, but not doing any better than that. So this was for the minerals, for the hoopla, or for all that optimism surrounding rare earth minerals, which, as I have explained, is a bit misplaced, and policymakers in Pakistan shouldn't fall for it. The second issue, which again there has been a lot of irrational exuberance surrounding this issue, is the crypto. Pakistan's jump into crypto, especially Bitcoin. Just about 2 days ago, they formed a council to look after the affairs of Bitcoin, regulatory affairs of Bitcoin, and guess who was nominated to the council? Surprise, surprise. 3 bureaucrats from different ministries, and that tells you a lot about Pakistan, how Pakistan is run. So why would you appoint a bureaucrat to look after regulation of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin? Beats me, and that explains a lot of the issues in Pakistan's economic management. It comes at the heels of a law that was passed about a month ago regarding the use of cryptocurrencies. Interestingly, what perpetuated all this optimism regarding, or this irrational exuberance regarding the cryptocurrency use in Pakistan, is that about a month ago, Pakistanis woke up to find that a young person by the name of Bilal bin Sakib, he was all over the headlines. He met the Prime Minister and the high and mighty and few other high and mighty in Pakistan. He was sitting with them. He came out of nowhere. Nobody knew him before that. Nobody had heard his name in Pakistan. And all of a sudden, he was sitting with the Prime Minister of a country and talking about Pakistan's potential in terms of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Well, as far as Pakistanis are concerned, I will tell you what, there wasn't much surprise in it, honestly, because these kind of, I would say, parachuted landings. These kind of landings are pretty common in Pakistan. You certainly wake up one day and you find that somebody has been anointed to a position of authority in Pakistan. Pakistan's current finance minister, Mr. Aurangzeb, serves as a good example. He had left Pakistan. In fact, he had denounced his Pakistani nationality. He was a Dutch national. He didn't even have Pakistani nationality. And one fine day, we woke up to find that the new finance minister has come back to Pakistan, and just an hour before taking oath as the finance minister of the country, he was granted Pakistani citizenship again, issued a national ID card for that. So that's pretty much tells you about Pakistan. And as I said, that's not the first time. Back in the 90s, we had Muin Qureshi, who was installed as the caretaker prime minister. I think it was 1993 or 94 when this happened. So anyway, Bilal bin Saqib came, and there was all this talk about, oh, Pakistan is entering the crypto world, Pakistan is entering a new brave world, and there's a lot of potential, and blah 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 blah. So let's again, just like minerals, we need to look at the ground realities. We need to look. We need to go beyond the hype. So here is the first one, first interesting bit. As soon as there was talk of establishing a crypto council or passing a law, somebody told the Prime Minister and his cabinet that the State Bank of Pakistan, the Central Bank of Pakistan, it already has a law that bans the use of cryptocurrencies. It outlaws cryptocurrencies. So imagine the fact that the Prime Minister of a country and his cabinet were unaware that there is already a law that bans the use of cryptocurrencies in Pakistan. They can't be used over here. And yet they were meeting Bilal bin Saqib, this young lad. I've heard it. He's from London and he's been dabbling in these currencies. And just following Bilal bin Saqib, this chief executive officer of Binance, which is a platform for cryptocurrencies, he also met the Prime Minister. So that kind of set the tongues wagging, and all this. There was all this speculation about what is going on, and of course, from the government side or from the official side, there was this proclamation of Pakistan has a lot of potential in cryptocurrencies, and we could do well with it. I don't think so. There are a few reasons for that, and I again, just like minerals, I think this is very a lot of it is pretty much misplaced optimism, which is not going to help. There are a few reasons for that. Well, first of all, it's not clear what you want to do with bitcoins. Bitcoins are pretty expensive. It's now $125,000 to one bitcoin, and for Pakistan, which is always seeking loans. Even a $100 million, $150 million loan or a $300 million loan, it's a big thing for them. Big thing for us because we don't have much reserves, we don't have much earnings when it comes to foreign exchange. So I don't know how they intend to do it. So buying bitcoins is out of questions. We just don't have the money for doing that. That leaves us with the option of mining bitcoins, and if you look at the number of bitcoins already mined, there isn't much that is left. So Pakistan is already late to the game. So as far as my queries, as far as the reality is concerned, and I queried this. I asked a few people around about what is going on and what's your plan. How do you intend to use bitcoins? Do you intend to buy it, or is it some other plan? And it turned out that the idea is that Pakistan has a lot of surplus electricity. The maximum electricity, the maximum capacity in Pakistan, installed capacity of electricity production is above 46,000 megawatt, and yet the average use in Pakistan of electricity, it's hardly 16,000 megawatts. So that leaves a lot of gap between the capacity to produce electricity and the real usage. So one idea was, and this was given by one of Pakistan's economists and a business analyst. His name is Amar. He is on Twitter by the acronym of Rogue Economist. He gave this idea that why not use this surplus electricity for mining bitcoins. We are paying for it anyways in trillions of rupees. So why don't we make use of it? And so this was the moment that it kind of thinks that this was the idea. He gave the idea, and it started kind of, since he's also working for the government, it's kind of perpetuated within the governing circles that this is a good idea. Why not use excess electricity for mining bitcoins? But you need a good grid. Mining bitcoins exert a lot of pressure on grids, and they've led to blackouts everywhere in the world where they have been mined. And a lot of countries have actually banned it. China has banned it, other countries have banned it. So, Pakistan's grid is in a very precarious and very poor condition. Pakistan's grid cannot handle the pressure that will be exerted when mining bitcoins. It requires a lot of power. It's going to break down. The short gist of it, it's going to break down if you start mining, if you start using it for Bitcoin mining. The other thing is that there is no surety that even if you run all the algorithms and everything, it's going to be mined. You can't mine it. In fact, you can mine it, but there is no possibility or there is no surety that you will end up mining a Bitcoin after all the computations or after spending all the energy on it. So this is one lacuna in all this plan. The second one is that even if you do end up using Bitcoins, what do you intend to do with it? How are you going to use it, and for what purpose? The only purpose, at least as far as I can think of, is they are saying that we are going to create a strategic reserve of Bitcoins. Remember that Donald Trump has also talked about creating a strategic reserve of Bitcoins. Well, what do you do with that strategic reserve? What exactly do you do with the reserves? You use it to pay for your imports. The issue with Bitcoins is even if you have a strategic reserve of your Bitcoins, you can't pay for it because nobody will accept it. Look at the international payment system for imports. Nobody accepts Bitcoin. El Salvador and I think it was the West African Republic who tried using Bitcoins in everyday transactions and made it legal tender, but El Salvador recently ended their experiment because it failed. So what are you going to do with it? What is Pakistan going to do with strategic reserve? It says, right, so one strategy is that you just mine Bitcoins and keep it your strategic reserves, and in the hope that its price is going to keep increasing as it has done since 2009 when the person, nobody knows him, Satoshi Nakamoto, came up with this idea of a Bitcoin. It started with zero and it has now crept up to $125,000 to $1, one Bitcoin. So if you want to keep a strategic reserve, then obviously the idea is that it will be there and its price will keep increasing. Well, again, the issue with this kind of thinking is that there is no surety that its price will keep increasing. If you look at the chart for Bitcoins, it has gone through very wide swings. It goes down like this immediately and then starts picking up, but then there's a crash and it again starts picking up. So it's not what the economists would call sound money. It's not sound money. Second, we need reserves for payments and our debt obligations. Nobody accepts payment in Bitcoins, either for debt obligation or imports. So what does Pakistan intend to do with it? There is no way or there is no plan, at least I haven't seen anything that says that this is the plan, that by accumulating this much reserves or Bitcoin reserves, it is going to help Pakistan grow, it's going to help Pakistan's GDP grow, or it is going to help Pakistan's economic development. And I can't think of a way that this would do, because as I said, reserves basically, what are they for? Reserves are basically for payment, for import payments, and most of Pakistan's import needs, they are short-term needs, they are not long-term needs. So if someone in Pakistan is thinking that, right, we are just going to keep it over here for like 10 or 20 years till it goes into millions of dollars, till its valuation goes to millions of dollars, I am sorry, but that's the wrong thinking.